Welcome to another episode of Recovery Road with your host, Recovery Lord. I normally do shorts with Just for Today, and that's because even if people don't do the whole group, I at least want them to engage the Just for Today because it's a positive message that needs to be repetitive. We need to have positive messages and routines to support our recovery. But I'm going to read today's Just for Today also in this group format. And that's just because I feel like it also speaks into today's group message. So today's Just for Today for March 6th is rationalizing away our recovery. As a result of the 12 steps, I'm not able to hold on to old ways of deceiving myself. We all rationalize. Sometimes we know we are rationalizing, admit we're doing it, yet continue the behavior according to our rationalizations. Recovery can become very painful when we decide that, for one reason or another. The simple principles of the program just don't apply to us. With the help of our sponsor and others in NA, we can begin to look at the excuses we use for our behavior. Do we find that some principles just don't apply to us? Do we believe that we know more than everyone else in NA, even those who have been clean for many years? What makes us think that we're so special? There's no doubt we can successfully rationalize our way through part of our recovery. But eventually, we must squarely face the truth and start acting accordingly. The principles in the 12 step guide us to a new life in recovery. There is little room for rationalization there. Just for today, I cannot work the steps and continue deceiving myself. I will examine my thinking for rationalizations, reveal them to my sponsor, and get rid of them. Hey, that's what hopefully we in it to win it. Hopefully that's what we doing. We in this to win this, not to see what's wrong with somebody else, not to point fingers because yeah, we all know we heard it. When you point one, some point back at you. And in the spirit of that message, welcome to Preem Being's seventh group. This gonna be a crazy one. A lot of people talking about recovery online. This gonna be your favorite one, and you gonna love it. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about accepting personal responsibility. Uh oh. Uh oh, you still there? You got something to do now? You gotta go to the store. You gotta do something else. You starting to itch and whatnot. Accepting personal responsibility. In accepting personal responsibility, the first thing we should be doing is acknowledging that you are solely responsible for for your choices in life. How many times do we hear people blame other people? Or if it wasn't for this, if you wouldn't have locked the door and left it open, if you wouldn't have did this, then I wouldn't have did that, had done that. But accepting personal responsibility, acknowledging that you are solely responsible for your choices in life. You're not responsible for all the things that have happened to you, especially in childhood, if you were a certain age, because you had adults in your life that those responsibilities were regulated to them. But once you're a certain age, don't nobody want to hear that shit about Mook Mook and Man and this and that. You are responsible for the choices, the people you choose to be with, the situations you find yourself in. Second thing, accepting that you are responsible for what you choose to feel or think. So, and that's deep. That goes back into the first one. So, even if you're not fully responsible for certain situations, maybe somebody, made a choice for you, but how you think and feel about these experiences, you are responsible. Shouldn't nobody be telling you how to feel or think, not when your God gave you free will. And if somebody is not allowing you to exercise that, they're trying to be your God. And what I've learned in my experience is a lot of control freaks don't have control in their own life. How you gonna control me when you can't even control? Self-control is the real strength. If you're trying to control somebody else, that's just exerting power and authority, which some people love, but the real strength is controlling yourself, accepting that you choose the direction for your life. You choose that, not your friends, not your mate. Your mate, my girl should not be giving me a purpose. She should be reminding me of what my purpose is. That is powerful. Reminding me of who I am in case I get lost, in a case I get sidetracked. But sitting here, yeah, this what you gonna do. You this, you gonna do. No, no, accepting that you cannot blame others for the choices that you have made. Not only that, don't hide behind a diagnosis. I see a lot of people and have clients who do this too. Every time I remind you of a strength, don't tell me about your diagnosis and I don't want to hear that shit. People lucky I'm not a cop. Put your motherfucking depressed hands behind your back. And guess what? The same people that be tripping, zapping out, acting like they can't control themselves, guess what? When they get locked up, oh, you can control things now? If your cellie don't want to be in a dirty cell, oh, you know how to pick up behind yourself. But when you home, you don't. That's child's play. And you're not gonna get better falling on that when it's convenient. Grow up. And if you a child, stay all the way in a child place. You can't do adult things, but then hide behind childish shortcomings. That shit don't work. I remember back in the day when my sister Kim, that era, that age group, when they wanted to be grown, you grown. Guess what? You not a child once it's Christmas time and you looking for a present under the Christmas tree and shit. You a kid again. And then on the 26th, you grown. Who got time to be playing it? Why y'all playing game? If you playing games with people like that, and I'm gonna say this to all my support people: if you trying to support somebody and you letting them play games with you like that, you sicker than them. Cause I'm not doing all that. We picking a struggle and we gonna figure that out. Tearing down the mask of defense or rationale for why others are responsible for who you are, what has happened to you, and what you are bound to become. So when people ask you about a decision you chose to make, and the only thing you can say is, well, this person is the reason why. You know what people hear? The dog ate my homework. I didn't get enough sleep. Now, wah, wah, wah. Sad trombone. Don't speak from a place of authority. Speak from a place of power. Speak it into your life. Don't always speak from the position of a victim and a poor me. And I'm saying that doing this group with a broke foot. But shout out to my big brother, Troy Melton, Baltimore City legend. If you know Troy Melton, Baltimore City legend. Call me, inspire me. Want to do groups. One, why not me? Had me getting all watery eyed and shit. And I tried to take a day off. My man hit me up and said, uh-uh. You are. No. Don't stop. Don't. I love that. That's why he my big brother. Not because he teaching me how to fuck up, but he reminded me of my purpose and what I said I wanted to do. And that's the importance of telling somebody what your goal is, what your plans are, because people are gonna hold you to that care about you. No, when you tell somebody, yeah, because I'm gonna buy a car, guess what they gonna say when they see you going out White Marsh or whatever to go buy something, some $200 True Religion jeans to go catch a Uber in and shit. They gonna say no. Remember, you said you was buying a car. How does buying a car and getting these jeans, how does that fit in the same paradigm? More than likely it don't. Moving forward, you're right. I get in the sidetrack rants. Somebody hit me and said, "Boy, the rant slick." Yeah, I mean the off ramp just as good as the path. uh, the rational belief that you are responsible for determining who you are and have your choices affect your life. That's accepting personal responsibility. It's a rational belief that you are responsible for determining who you are and how your choices affect your life. And if you're not strong enough to make your own choices, I'll respect that. And guess what? Now we know where your homework is. Because you shouldn't just say something like that and go right to the next thing. Yeah, like I'm not strong enough to make my own choices. Oh yeah, what we gonna play ball or what? Now you know where your homework is. So you should be using Google and your phone to look up ways where you can become stronger, tips on how to build your confidence instead of using your phone to see why Stephon Diggs and Cardi B broke up and who's doing this and how much is this person's net worth and a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with your existence. A bunch of foolishness. You could use that same. I use YouTube to trademark my own recovery lord. I just signed the paperwork before I got on and did this group. I used it to fix stuff on my car that I used to go pay people to do. So if you're not using the computer sitting in your pocket to enhance yourself and to get stronger, then that's when Kanye said slavery is a choice. If you choose to be dumb in the information age, that's a choice. And if you make that choice, I and anyone around you have no choice but to accept that it is what it is. Um, Pointing the finger of responsibility back to yourself and away from others when you are discussing the consequences of your actions. This is something I had to do. I had to stop. I when I was younger, uh, yeah, she always talking about me. I call my family talking about my baby mother. If Kia, first baby, if you watching this, yeah, she get on my nerves. She want this, and then we go into the movies right after. We go into Horn. It was Horn and Horn back in the day. They done changed the name. It's Charm City Buffet. That's my favorite joint right now. I'm gonna have to put Charm City Buffet in the description because these videos I be doing all type of free advertising and promotion, baby. So I'm just build vignettes, building steam. So eventually it'll be a paid style, not just a freestyle. Um, Recognizing that you are your best cheerleader. It is not reasonable or healthy for you to depend on others to make you feel good about yourself. I'm going to say that again. Recognizing that you are your biggest cheerleader. It is not reasonable or healthy for you to depend on others to make you feel good about yourself. What do people always do? Oh, I'm my worst enemy. I can't get out my own way. That's only one side of the coin. You got to look at, in the words of the beloved Loaded Lux, the large picture. If you are your worst enemy, you're also your biggest hero. The helping hand you looking for is attached to your own damn body. Sometimes I pause now because sometimes you gotta let it marinate. You gotta let it marinate. Um, and why are you leaving the job of you being happy in someone else's hands? That's a very important job in your life. Why in the world are you putting that in the hands of a subcontractor who might be having a bad day, who might have bad news, who may not be able to be there for you that day? And the way it worked, that'll be the day you need them the most. But making yourself happy, it's called esteem of your freaking fracking self. Where did I leave at? Because I want to be cool and not wear glasses. Recognizing that as you enter adulthood and maturity, you determine how your self-esteem will develop. So once you're an adult, people are not looking to be training wheels for adults. That's just life. These not my words. And again, because I always got to throw this disclaimer out. It's not just a like and subscribe. I got to throw out, I don't have anybody in mind. I don't have anybody in mind when I bring up this. Okay? But once you're grown, you're grown. That's what them training wheels not on there no more. You grown when it's time to have sex. You grown when it's time to do stuff that grown people do. So you gotta be grown when it's time to get to the cash register. Don't be grown in the whole store, and then when it's time to go to the checkout, you a child. And then once an adult pay for it, you back being grown again? No, that's what we used to do. And as my mother would say, used to is a Mr. Falcon Rooster, okay? Um, yeah, that was corny. It was, but hey, I can't be too tough. I'm recovery lord. Um, Not feeling sorry for the bum deal you have been handed, but taking hold of your life and giving it new direction and reason. That's coming from a place of, I'm gonna give this my best shot. That's when they told Ray Lewis, you too little to be a middle linebacker. That man in the Hall of Fame. Uh, thank God that Allen Iverson ain't 6'6", 6'7", because whatever height he is, he already, that's people who, they don't care what you tell them. They have made their mind up to be great. Why do we read books? Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality, and yeah, that was cool. That, Kobe's special. No, that mentality is kind of special because too many people want to focus on their shortcomings and their weaknesses, and they don't even want to acknowledge their strengths. You tell them about a time they showed strength, they don't want to hear that. No, oh, autism. Fuck you talk about strength. Autism, say it with me, ADHD. No, HDTV. Crystal clear. Let's develop these negatives. That's how a photographer gets the large picture. Letting go of your sense of over responsibility for others. Stop it. Get some help. Especially if you got your own issues, what in the world makes you think you supposed to be making decisions for grown people? And let me ask you this: why do you have to make important decisions for them, but you can't make the decision? No, you're not having no beer today. You're not smoking shit today. That's a decision you can't make. But all this other stuff, oh yeah, because you do that. You do my doctor's appointments and shit. Make it go away. Uh, Taking preventative health orientated steps of structuring your life with time management, stress management, confronting your fears, and burnout prevention. Face your fears head on. Do time management. Do time, but I tell you what, it's hard to be in active addiction and time management because when I was smoking weed, I was trying to hurry up and hit fast forward scan on everything important so I can get to the part where I'm gonna sit down and smoke weed. Yeah, let me hurry up and spend this time this wonderful beautiful moment that I'm having right now with my kids. Let me hurry up and get this shit out the way so I can smoke a blunt. When what they say, you don't understand and realize the value of a moment until it is a memory. Um, Developing positive, self-affirming, self-talk scripts to enhance your personal development and growth. Tell yourself one thing that you're good at, one positive thing that you're good at. Acknowledge your strengths. If you don't, they become weaknesses. I could go to Planet Fitness once my foot is not broken anymore. Go to Planet Fitness 6 months straight, a year. Caca, caca, all that. And be, as they say in Baltimore, cut like a bag of dough. We need to come up with another slogan too, guys. Because that's horrible. That's heartbreaking. Um, and it don't matter how strong I am, if I don't use those muscles, they turn into fat. They turn into fat. So acknowledge your strengths. Don't just focus on your weaknesses because that's your addiction that wants you to focus on your weaknesses. Because once you feel weak, then that bottle looks slicker than what it is. Then that pill looks like it makes sense. See what the bottle and what the pill don't want you to do, and the coke and the vapes and all the other knick-knack paddywhack give a dog a bone that they got out here. What that stuff don't want you to see is when you look in the mirror, it don't want you to see the scars on you. It don't want you to see the fucking teeth you missing. It wants you to think this I'm all you got. I'm the reason you're not in jail. When 9 times out of 10, I'm the reason you may go or just got out. Uh Letting go of blame and anger towards those in your past who did the best they could given the limitations of their knowledge, background, and awareness. I had to do this with my parents. I had to let go of anger and resentment that I feel as though I had of, oh, I didn't have this. I didn't have the fucking the such and such with the kung fu grip. And then that, growing up in the 80s, shout out to everybody. I'm Generation X. So shout out to all my people who grew up in the struggle in the 80s and 90s. It was something. And, you know, for our parents who grew up in the 60s and 70s, they didn't care about our mental health as a people. And they went through a lot of stuff that they never processed. They held on to until freebasing came out, until more and more different malt liquor private stock with the lumberjack match came out, and they got caught up in that. This I might do a part two to this because I see I'm hitting 25 minutes, and I don't want to go, because if I go too long, then I don't want to do all this on a broken foot for 10 people to engage, which I love you guys for doing that. And I know, and for a fact, that I'm sure those 10 people really are important to me. So God bless you for doing that. God bless you for accepting a message that may challenge you, may challenge what makes you feel comfortable, but please know that a lot of growth comes from places of being uncomfortable. I say a thing that I was told is, and I can't remember. I apologize. I can't remember who told me this, but a baby doesn't learn how to walk just by watching other people walk. They learn how to walk from falling, and they don't know how to talk yet. But something they got enough damn sense to know, this hurts falling. So, I better get a hang of this goddamn walking thing. So, get things together. Get yourself together. Why not? It's 2026. It's spring coming up, approaching. Spring into action. Spring into the best part of your life. Spring into the next chapter of your life. Love yourself enough to fight for what you have, what you want. You have a family, fight for that. Don't allow your addiction to pull you further from your family, because I don't care who they are, everybody has a point where they say, you know what? That was it. One of my favorite movies, the James Brown movie. Yo was taking he was taking crap from the whole damn movie. The last time you say, you know what, James? I had enough. And that hurt James Brown. Bobby Bird, where you go? Where you think you're going? That hurt the man. So don't push people away. If they really matter to you, bring them nearer to you, because it is strength in numbers. And start working on your triumph. Work on your victory. Victory is waiting for you to claim it. But if you following steps that your addiction is taking you down, there is no victory in that. The only victory is your addiction. When the people you swear you care and love about the most, all of a sudden not answering that phone, and you're whimpering and all that, get the falling on deaf ears. That is an expression of being too late. So before it get to that, let's chickadee check ourselves before we therapeutically riggedy wreck ourselves. And with that, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.